Every era of Call of Duty has its legends, players who dominated, players who changed the meta, players who made history. But every once in a while, something even rarer appears. Not a legendary player, a legendary duo. And for many people, that duo was Broken and Lowex. Individually, they were already among the most respected players in the scene. Broken was fearless, the first one to challenge a fight, the kind of player who would sprint straight toward danger while everyone else was looking for cover. Most players saw risk, Broken saw opportunity. Lowex was the complete opposite, calm, patient, calculated. He never rushed for no reason. He waited, watched, positioned himself perfectly. And then, when the timing was right, he struck. Completely different players, completely different personalities, yet somehow, the moment they teamed up, everything just clicked. It didn't matter if it was ranked, private rooms, scrims, or duo tournaments. The moment those two loaded into the same lobby, the atmosphere changed. People didn't celebrate seeing them, they sighed, because they already knew. This wasn't going to be an easy game. Playing against Broken and Lowex never felt like fighting two players. It felt like fighting one mind, controlling two soldiers. Broken would dive into a squad before anyone else even reacted. Most people watching thought, he pushed too early, he overextended, he threw. But then, almost like magic, Lowex would already be there, holding the perfect angle, breaking the enemy's escape, finishing the players Broken had weakened, saving him before anyone even realized he needed saving. It happened so often. The community stopped calling it luck. They called it chemistry. And chemistry like that couldn't be taught, couldn't be copied, couldn't even be explained. One of the most talked about duo tournaments started like every other event. Confident teams, confident predictions, people discussing who would win. But as the rounds continued, one thing became impossible to ignore. Broken and Lowex weren't just winning, they were making good teams look average. Squad after squad disappeared. One fight lasted less than 20 seconds. Another ended before spectators could even switch cameras. Every time one team thought they had finally cornered Broken, Lowex appeared. Every time players focused on Lowex, Broken crashed into the fight from another angle. There was simply no good decision, because whichever player you challenged, the other one was already moving. People even started joking that they shared the same brain. One player would jump out a window, and before he even landed, the other had already thrown the perfect smoke. Broken would rotate. Lowex had already predicted it. Lowex would hold an angle. Broken somehow knew exactly when to push. No voice comms could explain reactions that fast. Some fans even joked, they don't need microphones. They can probably read each other's minds. Then came a match that people talked about for months. Broken was knocked early. The opposing duo celebrated. They thought the game was over. The casters were already talking about the next round, but Lowex didn't panic. He slowed everything down, he repositioned, forced one enemy into the open, won the first fight, disappeared, reappeared from another angle, won the second, revived Broken, and within seconds, the two of them wiped the remaining team. The crowd couldn't believe it. Some called it luck. Others called it the greatest duo clutch they had ever seen. A few weeks later, the roles reversed. This time, Lowex was the one under pressure, pinned behind cover, low health, nowhere to run. Broken didn't hesitate. He sprinted directly into 4 players. Not because he expected to win, because he trusted Lotex to understand exactly what he was doing. The chaos lasted only seconds, but it was enough. Enough for Lotex to recover, enough for the enemies to lose their formation, enough for the duo to take another impossible victory. That was their greatest strength. Not mechanics, not movement, not aim. Trust. Complete trust. The kind of trust that only comes from hundreds, maybe thousands, of games together. Soon. The community stopped debating who the better player was, because the question no longer mattered. Broken wasn't broken without Lotex, and Lotex wasn't Lotex without Broken. They completed each other. Every few months, a new duo appeared, a new pair claiming they were the next great partnership. The community always got excited. This is the team that'll finally beat them. This is the duo everyone's been waiting for. And every single time, Broken and Lotex answered the same way. Not with tweets, not with excuses, not with trash talk, with gameplay. Quiet, clinical, dominant. The clips kept coming. Double squad wipes, impossible recoveries, perfect rotations, moments where they looked completely surrounded, only to walk away as the last team standing. Even spectators started noticing something strange. Whenever Broken was alive, Lotex somehow looked more confident. Whenever Lotex survived, Broken played even more aggressively. It was as if each player unlocked another level in the other, separate them, and you still had two incredible players. Put them together, and you created something the scene rarely sees, a partnership that felt inevitable. Years later, people would argue about the greatest individual players, who had the best movement, who had the best mechanics, who had the best aim. Those debates never ended, but whenever the conversation shifted to duos, there was always one partnership that older players brought up first: Broken and Lotex. Not because they won every single game, not because they never made mistakes, but because they made Call of Duty feel different. They made teamwork look effortless, they made impossible fights look routine, and they showed everyone that sometimes the strongest weapon in the game isn't a shotgun, isn't an SMG, isn't perfect movement. It's having one teammate who always knows exactly what you're about to do before you even do it. And that's why, even today, when veterans remember the golden days of COD Mobile, they don't just remember the highlights, they remember the feeling that whenever Broken and Lotex entered the lobby, the outcome already felt written. Two players, one partnership, one legacy, and perhaps the greatest duo the game had ever seen.